everybody, this is Francesco Abbruzzino with another Rogue Rant. And what am I ranting about today, live and unedited? Big Pharma and the big lie. Big Pharma wields enormous influence over the prescription drug and medical device around the globe. Why? Why is this, folks? Within the United States, the industry contributes heavily to the annual budget of the FDA, which is charged with regulating drugs and devices made by these very same companies. Ever hear of any oversight, folks? The industry demonstrates its power, political might, and social influence over the nation's governments and agencies, healthcare systems, doctors, hospitals, as well as the psyche of the American people. With the help of staggering profits and a ton of paid lobbyists, the industry has gained a powerful leverage in D.C., folks. Just in the last 15 years, Big Pharma has spent over $2.5 billion on lobbying. Lobbyists and political action committees affiliated with the industry have doled out significant amounts of money to campaign contributions. But the large amounts of big cash that Big Pharma bestows on government reps and regulatory bodies is small when you compare it with the billions that is spent each year on consumer advertising. The U.S. is one of the two countries in the world whose governments allow prescription drugs to be advertised on TV. When it comes to drugs taken and devices used by the American public, a handful of parent companies come into view. Prescription drugs and device manufacturers by these companies bring in billions in profit, but may leave consumers with serious adverse side effects. Big Pharma uses manipulative, ubiquitous, and expensive advertising to sway lawmakers, the FDA, and the public, which in turn spurs on hypochondria and raises consumer health fears. The American public is not the only sector of society influenced by Big Pharma's techniques. No. Doctors, scientists, research organizations, medical journals, teaching hospitals, university medical schools, they all exhibit disturbing conflicts of interest between their publicly stated missions and their financial and ideological subservience to Big Pharma, folks. Doctors are still some of the most trusted people in society. They study for many years, take an oath to do no harm, and vow to depend on the accepted medical science to guide and support their professional conduct and decisions they make on behalf of patients. But doctors complete, you might say, some of their expert research with funds from Big Pharma. Private charities and foundations account for a mere 5% of the estimated $100 billion spent on biomedical research in the U.S. each year. Pharmaceutical and medical device companies contribute approximately 67%. Big Pharma also has a track record of hiring former government workers with valuable connections to gain political clout or maintain political clout. Doctors may be persuaded to allow ghostwriting, which involves Big Pharma paying physicians to attach their names to positive articles about a particular drug with the goal of seeing it published in a reputable medical journal. Often the commentary is little more than an advertisement, pinned by a company-paid copywriter showcasing a newer product. Big Pharma used ghostwriting to promote numerous drugs, folks, including the antidepressant Paxil. Do you guys recall the weight loss drug Fen-Phen? How about the anti-epilepsy drug Neurontin, the antidepressant Zoloft, and the painkiller Vioxx? In addition, even when a medical reviewer who is an expert in the field writes a comprehensive assessment of a new drug for a medical journal, it is common practice for those supposedly unbiased professionals to be on Big Pharma's payroll. Slanted studies appear in medical journals that are widely held as collections of unbiased scientific evaluation and separated from the long financial arm of the pharma industry and their influence. Yet, you can talk to people like Richard Smith. He's a former editor of the British Medical Journal. He says all journals are bought or at least cleverly used by Big Pharma. It is not uncommon for Big Pharma to pull its ads when those same journals question the accuracy of the advertisement or run an article contrary to Big Pharma's agenda. That kind of hardball intimidation has a chilling effect on editors and publishers who must weigh their scientific objectivity with the requirement of running a business. especially when Big Pharma can make up a vast bulk of the journal's advertising revenue, folks. Then there are the medical researchers. Oh, yes. They hardly are immune to Big Pharma's financial power because drug companies are the principal sponsors of the clinical trials that the researchers are paid to administer. Too often, the academics and the scientists are hired hands who supply human subjects and collect data according to the instructions from their corporate employers. Sponsors keep the data, analyze it, write the papers, and decide whether and when and where to submit the publication. Finally, there is the selective presentation. A company may conduct 1,000 trials. If just 2 are positive, they get FDA approval and they're published. The other 998 never see the light of day, folks. Big Pharma has also infiltrated the medical schools. Teachers, department chairs, and deans are known to sit on drug company boards of directors. And that influences educational content, doesn't it? Money from Big Pharma supports programs within many medical schools and teaching hospitals. And the company reps are given access to young doctors to promote their wares. The result is doctors only receive biased information, but also learn a drug-intensive style of medicine. They come to believe that there is a drug for everything and that the new drugs are always better than the old ones. And they have a ton of free samples to pass out for Drug Day, folks. Big Pharma appears less interested in the health of the American public than it is in fulfilling its fiduciary responsibility to its stakeholders. And because Big Pharma influence is so extensive and self-interest is the motive of its giant network, the well-being of society may be in serious jeopardy. And this has been Francesco Abbruzzino with another Rogue Rant.